Okay, Rowdy, here we go. Up in the top left-hand corner of the map, our buddy.
Ben, wait, you see that?
Or is it the Doppler effect?
That's what it is.
Can we zoom in on the Doppler effect?
Yes, we can. Zoom.
It's like these little ripples in the creep.
Yep.
There it is. The Doppler effect in full swing. It is Millennium Goswser user as the blue Zerg player. His opponent down in the bottom right. In red, he is playing Protoss. He is a member of Invictus Gaming. His name is MacSed.
And you know, Ben, what's really funny, and this is almost even creepy, all four of these guys, pretty much all of their latest games in WCS, whether it was Season 2, even almost going back to Season 1, pretty much the only matchup that any of them have played is ZVP or ZVZ. Like, the only races they have in that group right now. It's almost ridiculous. But if you take a look at MacSed's run throughout Season 2, he started off playing against Puck, Snoot, and then Puck again. Only ZVZ and ZVP. In the second round, he only played against Sage, Scarlet, Revival. Once more, all the same matchups. Then in the quarterfinals, he did face Tasia and he eventually lost. But that was the first non-PVZ or PvP that he played. If you take a look at Goswser user, last season he was in Challenger League. He was not part of Premier League. He played against Nesty, Telia, Krang, and Telia again. Like, how? That's almost bizarre. And it even goes for the other two guys as well, which we'll talk a little bit later, Sen and Wang Xin. But a lot of they've had plenty of practice in the matchups they have to play today. A lot of official games are out there. It's very easy to get some information on them. You can always go to starcraft2.com/WCS, find all the videos, find all the VODs. But to be honest, man, I don't think that most of these players have like a certain style they always fall back to. If you take a look at Goswser user, would you say Goswser user really plays like this in ZVP? No, Goswser user does what he thinks is right on this map against this opponent in this phase of the game. That's pretty much how Mike plays.
He does have I guess, a diverse playbook to draw from. And, I mean, if you guys have been watching the broadcast for the past several days, you've probably noticed that he is incredibly knowledgeable in all matchups and of all players, which makes him a dangerous opponent for anybody. That said, MacSed's not somebody that's necessarily easy to research. Mike might be able to go back and look at his Season 2 games, but what is that really going to tell him?
Yeah, a lot have changed already since Season 2. Like, it's more than a month ago, and you know how much can change in a meta, certainly in a matchup like this. But if I was a Zerg player and I have to go up against MacSed, well, we can take a look, of course, at the openings, guys. We see a gateway first for MacSed, double gas, and he's going to drop his Nexus in his natural. Did he make the Zealot? No, I think he had it in production, then he cancelled it. And then we saw Ghost User opening very standard as well. Like, if I go up against MacSed, I am very worried about two-base all-ins, because MacSed loves to even open up with stuff like Phoenixes, but then he will also just throw down 7 gateways behind this. I think it's going to be extremely important for Ghost to use that he's going to be very active with links all around the map. Perhaps that's why he's getting the relatively quick speed as well. Putting Overlords in good position. You want to keep track on MacSed. If MacSed surprises you, you're in a world of trouble.
Yeah, that's the damn truth. We see a Phoenix opening here for Mac. Well, what I assume is going to be a Phoenix opening, as the Stargate is going down already. It's been one gate fast expand, couple more gates, and then that Stargate right there at the front. So if a Ling comes forward into that wall, Ghost User might, he's definitely seen it already. It's a good scout.
Yep.
So he's going to know exactly what he's playing against, and in my opinion, this should be his ticket to drone very hard.
Yes, but also be careful. Once more, MacSed is a tricky player. It's not like, okay, he's gonna go with Phoenix. He's gonna open up with Phoenixes. I can drone very hard. He might just make one Phoenix and then still have a pylon up on the map and with a couple of gateways warp in a few Zealots. And if he's able to force a cancel on you, that's something that happened when Ghost User played against Crank, and he, in my opinion, a little bit surprisingly, lost 2-0 against Crank. Because he was not able to keep this third hatchery alive. He had to cancel it, and that pretty much set him up for a disaster. He just never had the economy that he needed to deal with a Protoss player. So even though I agree with you, Ben, normally if you scout a Stargate, you're like, I can drone a little bit. Don't overdo it, though. It's a really quick lay attack, by the way.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what he's thinking. Usually you take a third base and delay that layer a little bit longer. Ghost User's getting a single Evo chamber and going straight.
Maybe he wants to get a super quick Hydra then down.
I'm wondering if it might be like a Hydralisk Zergling timing attack that he's thinking, but it could
also just
still
be
hard to say.
It could also just be for defensive purposes.
Fast Infestation Pit. So of course there are Swarm Host builds that could be working here. They're not necessarily that great against Stargate play, but they can be.
Well, definitely can. Curious to see where Mike's going to take this. If he gets up to a certain amount of swarm modes, it's going to be extremely good against gateway units and Stargate, without Colossus or without Storm. There we do see the the robotics facility going down from MacSed as well. So we don't have to worry about any crazy timing from MacSed. It's not going to be Phoenixes in 7 and 8 gates. I think, this is MacSed probably just scouting with his Phoenixes. He's like, hey, you didn't take your third base yet. Even if I wanted to throw down 4, 5, 6 extra gates, I don't think I'm going to do it right now because I don't think I really have to. We all know as a Protoss player...
pathogen glands is the research. So what in the world? This is, by every indication, 2-base Zergling Infestor.
But, if MacSed just drops the robotics bay immediately and, goes up to Colossus, I don't really think he has that much to worry about. It's also a single evolution chamber, by the way. That's definitely worth mentioning. Yeah. It's no double evo.
And he's researching attack, not armor. So the zealots that MacSed will no doubt have out on the map are going to be very effective against these Zerglings once that +1 upgrade finishes. Here's the first Infestors on the way.
I don't really like what I'm seeing here, Ben. I think perhaps Goswser is playing a little bit on autopilot mode. He's like, oh, I'm going to have to worry about 2-base. I'm going to have to worry about 2-base. I'm going to have to worry about 2-base. I'd be very surprised if MacSed actually busts out the 2-base push over here. Because if you're MacSed right now and you've scouted what you've scouted, would you still want to go with 2-base, even if this was your plan from the get-go?
No, not at all. I think if that's what if I'm MacSed and I've seen this, I'm going to very methodically take my third base and just continue building up. Goswser is planning something. He's building a lot of Zerglings. He's got that spine crawler wall. He's got 5 Infestors out, soon to be 7 Infestors out. So there's going to be some kind of Zergling Infestor attack, I suppose. But I still feel like it's going to be very difficult for him to make that work. There's the Hive going down, and also the third base. So Goswser, if he's not planning a crazy attack, he's now realizing that he doesn't have to make a crazy defense.
Oh, look at the income tab right now, Ben. It's 50 probes against 44 drones. Of course, a lot of those drones morphed into spine crawlers. Then he got the hatchery as well. RoboBay going down right now. If Goswser is able to get a cancel on this hatchery, that would be really huge. That's not a cancel he should get. Sentries are making their way over. I think with force fields, he should be fine.
He's going to have to make a full donut, and he does do mostly that.
The hot sign is on.
It is. And Goswser realizes that he's going to have to get out of there. So here's the thing about Zergling Ultra, Kev. You can pull it off. It's a pretty low economy build at the end of the day. You don't need a lot of money to make Zerglings, and you will acquire enough gas over the course of the game to be able to make a handful of Ultras once your Hive finishes. So Goswser, I don't think he's in dire straits just yet. The problem that I kind of see coming here is that there are Immortals out, and there are Void Rays out, and there's not much in the army of Goswser that is great against either of those things. Investors offer an answer, but it's not necessarily a perfect solution.
Nexus is up. It's not full on HP though. The army's out on the map. We might see a recall. I hope for MacSed that he doesn't just recall without his army actually being below the mothership core. Because here we go, quite a few Zerglings moving in. He's actually just not even going to recall, Ben. He's just going to wipe in a couple of additional Zealots.
Going. These upgraded Zealots doing pretty good against the Zerglings. That cannon's in a great spot. Still, though, Goswser has enough Lings here that I think he might be able to kill this Nexus. He's going to lose his third base. Oh, this is going to be close. Probes are fighting the Zerglings. The Nexus, I don't think it's going to fall, Kev.
I don't think it's going to fall either. He's going to be able to keep it alive while taking out the third base from Goswser on the other side of the map. And he didn't even recall yet. Of course, he can recall. We can see Goswser sending a couple of additional Zerglings. He should be fine over here with Queens and plenty of Fungals. And these Zerglings might be able to take out the Nexus, though.
Yep, this time it's going to go down. Oh, the recall is gonna
oh my god, it's not gonna go down.
Are you serious right now? That Nexus has 21 hit points.
Wow.
It should be dead, but it is not dead, and now Goswser's got to figure out something new.
This is a real Phoenix, by the way. She was supposed to be an hallucinated Phoenix, I believe, just idling above the Queen and the Spore. I love what MacSed is doing over here, by the way, Ben. He's making it so hard for an additional long run by to squeeze in, or even 1 or 2 Ultras. They're going to have a really hard time even getting close to that Nexus. The shields will regenerate. MacSed finds himself in an absolutely fantastic position right now. 6 extra gateways on the way, +2 is being researched, second Robogate going down, and of course we're going to get Templar Archives as well. Archons fantastic against Zerglings and Ultras. Really good against absorbing Fungals as well. They can stand there for quite a while. You're going to need a crazy amount of Fungals to kill Archons. And above all, you can always keep a couple of High Templars in the mix for feedbacks. Take
Yeah.
a look at units resource units lost, man. 93 against 7. Of course, that's a little deceiving when we talk about Zerglings, but 93 against 7, that still means that you've definitely been doing something right.
And it tells a pretty obvious story. We've got more ultras on the way. I want to try and believe that there's some hope here for Goswser. And what I will say is that Zergling-based armies, the supplies are often deceptive. We see it's 130 supply against 153, but there are still 30 lings out on the map. That's something. The ultras are excellent against the zealots and
but that's a matter of time before this army gets really strong.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be Archons now, and there's going to be Immortals, and Archon Immortal is exactly what you want against the kind of army that Goswser has built for us.
And
so
let's not forget about these Void Rays, man. Charged up Void Rays.
we still don't really have an answer to the Void Rays. There are Queens out, there are Infestors out. Those can solve the Void Ray problem, but in a big, huge engagement, not the best answers. So Goswser is definitely in a difficult position here. 140 supply against 180 supply. Now, MacSed...
Ben, perhaps it was MacSed was rolling the dice there a little bit, but I want to give him props, though, for that excellent game sense, realizing that he will be able to keep that Nexus alive for the first time. He will
realizing that he'd save it with 20 hit points.
Well, I mean, that was his second wave,
Yeah.
when he just recalled, and perhaps getting a little fortunate with the way that units spawned around the Nexus. I don't know. Either way, it was fantastic game sense by MacSed. Not recalling too early, realizing that he can probably do something.
Even if that Nexus dies, I think it's worthwhile because he's going to kill all those units. He trades 400 minerals for an army. So I think regardless of how he came to that conclusion, MacSed demonstrated brilliant decision-making, like you said, Kevin, not just in how long he waited to come back, but also in the fact that he was able to deny the Goswser's expansions for so long. Now, Goswser has found an opening, and this is the kind of thing that needs to happen for Goswser to get back in this game.
But Goswser does not have a recall like MacSed does, so he has to be rather careful. He's going to be actually able to squeeze in with quite a few links, but there will be Zealots over here. Eventually, there might be a Mothership Core as well. At the same time, we have a War Prism in the main base of Goswser. Most of Goswser's units are out of position. Maybe the Ultralis Cavern can go down.
Yeah, it goes from bad to worse for Mike, who he managed to run by but didn't kill much with it. His Queens get caught out. That means he loses his Transfuse for those Ultras. His fourth base will be denied. These 3 Spine Crawlers are also not long to this world. They're going to die without really so much as tickling a couple of Zealots, and I feel like we are watching the closing moments of this first game. It's just been perfect play from MacSed.
There hasn't really even been a real fight. It's just been decision-making all over the place. That's a massive Fungo over here, though. That's a really good Fungo. If he gets a few more of those, maybe something is possible. With Blinding Clouds on top of it as well, MacSed is just like, I just killed 2 hatcheries. I got Zealots in your main. I am going to recall.
Now, Goswser might even lose this +3 upgrade, which would be terrible. Ultralis Cavern's going to fall, but how much does that matter when he's this baroque? He's got 100 gas. His main can't mine. His third's been killed.
Oh, MacSed is looking real sharp this game.
MacSed has played perfectly.
Perfect, actually. There's almost no other way to put it. Going to be able to pick up this Infestation Pit as well. The Evolution Chamber did survive, but the Ultra Caravan went down during all this, by the way. 4th base up and no problems. Never even had to worry about any aggression from Goswser on that side of the map. Right now we can see he's going to just finish things up with a Dark Shrine. Where is that Dark Shrine? It's over here in the main. He's going to Research Storm as well. +3 is about to finish up. More Archons.
Win behind, go Dark Shrine. Also win crushingly ahead. Go Dark Shrine.
Every time Dark Shrine.
There you go. Goswser retaking his third, retaking his fourth, but this is very clearly just an awful situation. He's managed to maintain a reasonable supplied army, 150 supply.
He still has an army. Like that's the only thing that we can safely say.
And we can also say that fungal growth plus blinding cloud is maybe the greatest equalizer of them all. But this is like a pure Archon army. If Archons can only fight Zerglings at 1 range, I think they're going to be fine with that.
They'll love it. A couple of sentries still in the mix as well, just to round everything up. Once more, the Warp Prism heading into the main base. More Zealots are being dropped. A couple of Zealots might be wiped in as well. He's going to spread out his opponent once more. Will be able to take out this 4th base if Goswser decides to retreat. Dark Templars find themselves in a dicey position.
Yep.
One of them does survive.
We've spotted a 170 supply Zerg army, and one of them dies.
I'm going to run. There's just a single Spore Crawler, by the way, in the main base. I don't think there's a single Overseer over here, so these DTs are definitely something to worry about. Right in this moment when MacSed, it's almost like he knows when his army is moving. The moment he's realizing, like, I have so many units in your main right now, you're probably going back soon, right? DTs might be able to snipe an Infestor or 2. It's getting close, but not close.
No. 4th base of Goswser is just going to fall. The 3rd will come down shortly thereafter.
Talk about a beautiful game from a Protoss, man. This has been how to play PvZ 101.
Yeah, I think some of it is perhaps the result of Goswser's build choice, and maybe misreading a little bit what he was up against.
You know, being safe is good, but I do think in a certain point, like for Protoss, if it's 2 base against 2 base and you're up 7 workers without really doing anything, then you're just like, cool.
Thanks.
This is not how it normally goes when I play ladder.
Yeah, so, I mean, Goswser definitely was overly safe. He saw something that made him feel like there was a 2-base all-in coming.
Yeah,
it's the only thing that makes sense. He built 4 spine crawlers in his natural before he took his 3rd base.
I mean, MacSed just didn't take a 3rd base very quick either. He's, but I don't think that's his... MacSed is not the type of player who goes up to 3 nexus, even when he wants to at the 7-minute mark. If MacSed goes 3 nexus, it's still a 9-10 minute 3rd base. He is not the type of player that drops it at the 7-8 minute mark.
This is a pretty good Ultralisk killing army, if ever I have seen one, Kev. It's a lot of Archons, a lot of Immortals.
There are quite a few Vipers in the mix as well, though, so maybe we can see some crazy abducts.
We'll see. Blinding Cloud goes down on everything. Feedback being cast as well. This is a great fight for Goswser. Fungal and Blinding Cloud brilliantly cleans up the majority of what MacSed was fighting with, and Goswser takes a momentary supply lead.
A couple of Infested Terrans going to try to make their way against these Void Rays. Actually doing reasonably well. 3 Void Rays died already.
Unbelievable fight there for Goswser, but the question still has to be asked. What next, man? That was a brilliant engagement. Perfect use of Fungal plus Blinding Cloud. But his main has been ravaged. His natural is now no longer mining. MacSed has been able to reestablish supply faster than Goswser has.
It's beautiful to play Protoss when you're this rich, you have this many bases, and you're just attacking all the time, man. You're just spamming units, warping in units left and right. Warp Prism still in the main. Goswser has lost pretty much everything over here. His 3rd base on the heavy fire as well. Void Rays cleaning up the rest. That was a beautiful fight by Goswser, but he's just so far behind.
He's gonna lose his last hatchery now. And
I like this Mothership Core.
These drones can save the day.
Look, Mothership Core is gonna kill Infested.
Goswser's still walking around with a scary-ish army, Kev. But I mean,
how many overseers does he have in this army? Okay, yes.
2.
You know, he might be able to take out his 4th base. But he's losing every single base on the other side of the map. There's 70 supply remaining.
Man, what a great engagement that was from Goswser. It's almost a shame that after that, he's still going to end up losing this game. He's down to 66 supply against 150. There's the GG. So MacSed will take game number 1. I would love to